Hi everyone and welcome to my first Halloween tutorial. I'm so excited for Halloween. My first tutorial is a classic skull but with a sexy twist. When I decided to shade the skull, I decided to add some purple, which added a bit more dimension and it made the skull a bit more interesting. So I am excited to do this tutorial and show you guys how you can get the skull. If you are interested in finding out how to get the skull, please continue watching, but also do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also click on the notification bell. All right guys, let's get started with today's Halloween tutorial. All right, first thing we're going to do is we are going to sketch everything out. We're going to sketch out the eyes, we're going to sketch out the nose, we're going to also sketch out the jawbone. Now, this sketch doesn't have to be accurate at all. You just need the sketch as a guide. That was what I was doing. I was kind of looking at a video and looking at a photo, and then I was kind of like sketching it all out. It's not going to be perfect, believe me. By the time you introduce the face paint and all the eyeshadow, you'll have to change some stuff up, but you just need a simple guide to get you going. Now it's time to fill in our skull. I'm going to be using white clown paint, and I ended up using a lot of paints. This paint is very, very, very thick, and it's going to come back and bite me in the ass later. I am learning now that this paint is super, super thick and super, super like liquidy and, you know, creamy, so it doesn't allow me. So I learned my lesson. I'm going to have to use less paint, but you guys will see later as I struggle to shade how the creaminess of the paint kind of gives me some wahala. Because I knew that the face paint might be a little bit creamy, I decided to set it with some translucent powder, but it still wasn't enough. Believe me, it was not enough. Now I am filling in the eyes. I'm taking black face paint, and I am using a flat concealer brush to fill in the eye sockets and kind of define and shape the sockets. Then I'm using black eyeshadow to shade everything and to make sure that everything is nice and set. I also used eyeliner, but I don't know why I didn't show this part. Now I'm doing my nose, and my nose was kind of hard because of all the lines and all of the the cream, the white face paint cream just kept on like interrupting and turning everything gray, but I ended up being able to fill in my nose and make sure that everything was nice and neat. The nose wasn't easy, believe me. I'm still like looking at it. I can point out so many things I could have done better, but we did what we could. We did what we could. Side note, this is the first time I'm ever doing a full skull, like a full ass skull, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Now we're gonna fill in and shade the jawbones. I was copying a video and a photo while doing this, and it was so hard, especially all the shading. I ended up kind of drawing the jaws in a weird way, but I was able to fix it and correct it. All I'm doing right now is taking black face paint to shade in the, you know, the place where those two bones meet at my cheekbones, and I'm also using it to kind of define the hollow where the teeth of the skull are going to be. After using the black face paint, I am using black eyeshadow to set and also to blend that area out. I'm also going back in with white face paint to define that top layer on top of the hollows, so we have a nice defined hollow bone, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Now looking at the video and the photo that I was following, I realized that there was not supposed to be any face paint on my lips, so I was trying to clean that area up because that's where the teeth are supposed to go, and I didn't want to mess up the teeth. Now the teeth were the hardest part of this entire look, so I took a concealer brush, took white face paint, and kind of laid it flat, and then as I trailed it down my lip, I turned it to the side so it had that kind of pointy end. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm sorry that it's not really showing on, like, I'm kind of using the mirror to cover it up, but I really need to look up close and make sure that I was doing this thing right. Basically, I used a flat concealer brush, covered in paint, applied it, and then pulled it down on its side to give that kind of sharp edge. I hope that makes sense. Now I'm taking black eyeshadow to define in between the teeth, so you can actually see like the actual teeth, and there's more definition between each of the, the teeth. I'm making sure that, we have defined teeth. I'm also adding some more face paint to the areas that need, like if some of the teeth are crooked or some are just like weird. I had to go back and forth correcting everything, but this took a long ass time. Next, I used some black eyeshadow to kind of define the area in between like the upper and bottom jawline, so I could make sure like, the teeth are showing. Then I looked at the bottom jawline and I didn't like how it looked, so I went back and I kind of blended the bottom jawline out so it was a bit more diffused and not so stark white. I wasn't really feeling that, so I had to, change that up and blend it together. Then I decided to shade. Now when you're usually shading a skull, you usually use black and brown. I decided to use purple, and I don't know why. I just wanted to do something different, honestly. And at first it was really frustrating me. It wasn't looking the way I wanted it to look. As you can see, I was just like so fucking frustrated. But I was like, fuck it, I am gonna do this thing. So I ended up going back in with the purple and making sure that I kind of shaded everything. Even though in my opinion the shading wasn't done so well, I still really liked it. The shading wasn't done so well because the cream paint underneath was still very wet and creamy. So as I was applying the eyeshadow, it just wasn't like sitting on top. It was kind of mixing. But I kind of later didn't mind how it looked. I kind of felt it. So basically I took the purple eyeshadow and I shaded all the edges of the bones, which was on top of the ridges, on the forehead, and even on the bottom jawline. I also shaded around the mouth, the eyes. I said the mouth, the eyes, to give the eyes a bit more, dimension and, make it just look a little bit cooler. Next, I forgot that, in a skull, you have these two, like, hollows, like, on the top of your head. So I had to, draw those hollows out and fill them in with black face paint. And then I kind of shaded around it with the purple to add, a little bit more shading and dimension. Shading just adds dimension to your looks, basically. So just went back in with some more purple, added some more of, shaded it, blended it through. Again, I was really, not happy with the way it was coming out, but in the end, I was like, you know what, this is so cool. I like it this way. Mistakes happen, and when you make a mistake, you kind of make it work, and I love the way this came out. I then drew a line through the middle of my head. I don't know why, I just felt like it would look good. And then I applied some purple eyeshadow to my lip to kind of tie in to the purple that was going on. I took some translucent powder and I kind of blended out the edges of where I shaded, and yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoy my skull tutorial. I really enjoyed making it. This is a sexy skull lady who's gonna come and haunt your dreams and give you maybe some sexy nightmares. I don't know. But thank you guys so much once again for watching my video. Please let me know what you think by leaving me a comment below. Do not forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you guys in my next video, which is coming out tomorrow. Bye.